Hello and welcome to the back nine of round 2 of the 2025 Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Prodigy. I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
I'm Madison, Waco.
We're your two hot geese.
We're in round 2, but on the back nine.
Sure are.
We got a couple more wooded holes, and then we go out into the wind, and it is crazy.
We are watching Jessica Weese absolutely shred the front nine, 6 down. And I mean, the best score we saw yesterday was an 8 down. It does again get very hard in the last few holes. Missy Gannon also at 6 down. Pretty tight at the top, honestly. A lot of people under par. A lot of birdies still left to get.
Let's get it started here on hole 10. A fun little par 4 at 491 feet. Room to finally open up in the woods. There's this gap right here on the right side that you're hoping to hit with just the slightest amount of turn or a pushing hyzer because you want to land in this area, ideally right here, leaving yourself a little chip. Backhand or forehand both work well. You see a lot of drives filtering to the left side, and it forces you to throw kind of a tight hyzer or a forehand turnover shot that can be a little bit more technical. There's a ditch around behind the basket that can make putting very interesting here.
Is interesting the word?
Mm-hmm.
Annoyingly hard, also an acceptable description. What the heck is this?
Are you joking?
Look how far that is.
That is smoked.
It's by the dead tree. That's probably, what, 80 feet past the normal landing zone?
Absolutely.
Wow, talk about opening up. Getting emotional.
Kristin taking advantage as well. You don't see many players.
Oh, yeah. Make the cameraman turn.
Oh, my gosh.
Also at the dead tree.
You don't see many players in the Waco woods going high like we just saw Henna and Kristin do. There's a lot of ghost branches without leaves on them, so you can't see them. And they're just trusting that they're not there. Jess trying to work a flex shot. She's going to get tangled up in the right side, and it can get tough over there.
I think not quite as tough as the left, though.
True that.
For at least a par. But
yeah,
man, do you want to birdie this one. Owen going with a racer here. Gets past that final tree and should be in a decent spot to attack. Very technical shot here from Jess.
Yeah, a lot more room to work with than I thought. Are you kidding?
Bases it and gets a bad kick. Okay. Tight.
What the heck?
Uh-oh.
Dialed. Right. Jess is dialed right now.
Yeah. She's winning right now for a reason. Owen kind of yanks that up shot. Henna's so good at that shot. I just want a compilation of every upshot, slightly turning upshot that Henna's ever thrown. Just watch it on a loop.
Just watch them land perfectly flat right under the basket every time.
And soft.
Yep. Kristin floating a little forehand up, staying on top of the green.
Owns third, gets into the bullseye.
This played as the second easiest hole of the day. Almost 40% of the field getting it.
Oh, give it to her. She definitely earned that one. What an upshot. Kristin building some momentum, getting a turkey there. Moves to 11 down, still 3 strokes back of Jessica.
What do we say the final 3 days of score was last year?
Last year
total
was with the golf course, so it doesn't quite. But
okay,
2 years ago, I think it was like a 13 or 14 down, 1 overall.
Wow.
So we're already there.
We're already there.
And it was even less the year before. So
and we did have
these ladies be good.
Yeah, we did have slightly worse conditions, I would say, as far as cold goes. But
wind-wise, similar.
Similar, yeah, absolutely.
Just short sleeves.
Yeah. Warm wind.
Yeah. Hole 11, a shorter par 3, 279 feet. Again, harder than it looks. You want to get through this tunnel. Most women taking the left gap of this middle tree right here. If you take this right side, you can still potentially get close to the basket, but you usually see longer putts. You see forehands, you see backhands, you see mids, you see fairways, you see all kinds of stuff. Let's just watch it.
I think I'm learning that even though the left gap's bigger, the right gap's better.
You think so?
I think so.
The one that Henna just took.
Yeah, and parked it.
And parked it. Yeah, but she's able to go like really slow speed. That was
that holds.
Oh, Champion Rock 3.
That holds nice and straight. I like this. I like the forehand on this hole. I think it's a great play. It feels very safe because you're just not messing around at all with that late left side where putting can sometimes be non-existent.
And you still can birdie it, which is great.
Definitely.
Usually have to make a putt, though.
You just have to have so much power to push so far straight and uphill. Jess obviously has enough power that she's almost moving on to the next tee.
Yeah. Own just a touch off today on some of these shots, and that's why that left gap maybe isn't the best choice because this is very obstructed.
She does a little kind of half pitch out, half approach. Really great. It checks up on that very eroded Rudy Hill.
Kristin for 4 in a row.
Oh, man. Kristin is just a little off on the putting green today, but so close. Henna going to take the only birdie on our card and one of only 7 today on the day out of 52 competitors.
And a second boat tail grackle. 4 in a row for Henna, really building that momentum as well. Tied it up with Kristin there.
Look at that form. It's so pretty.
Yeah, got star eyes watching. Wow. Missy sliding up into 4th, having a great round.
And our last wooded hole and final par 5 of the day at 609 feet. This hole is no joke. Your tee shot has to be good or the rest of the hole is a nightmare. I like a forehand. You see backhand turnovers as well. You kind of want to push the woods line deep and let it fade to the right. If you are off the fairway there, it gets really tough to even recover your par. The second and third shots are absolutely crucial. You want your third shot to at the very least land at the base of the hill before you go up to the surface that the green is on. Henna, that is an early tree hit, and she's going to have a hard time recovering a par from there.
Fortunate result, though, to get back into the fairway. Kristin with the sidearm, that's looking great. Needs to get down a little pinched on the right side, but birdie's still potentially in play from there. Whoa. Very steep hyzer angle out of Jess's hand.
Yeah, I know you want to saw this one off, but that almost seemed a little too sawed off, but what do I know? Jess knows, yeah, Jess knows what she's doing right now.
Ooh, solid shot from Owen. Gonna be pinned up behind a couple trees, but great distance.
Henna making this look like an easy shot, and that is so hard what we just saw. Unfortunately, she gets caught up in some branches. Jess was a little earlier than you want here, and she's going to be forced to kind of do a little pitch out shot.
I'd argue this is the hardest backhand tee shot on the course.
Yeah.
Good pitch out there. Jess just trying to play this cleanly for par now, land in the fairway. Maybe work up that hill a little bit with a big shot.
And you can see how this hole so quickly spirals as you're trying to pick up ground. You can catch any little branch or tree on the edge of the fairway, and you never quite know what direction you're going to kick. Sometimes it's back out into the middle, and if you decide to go the other way, it is rough. Owen with a little gap to sneak through.
Now fade.
That looks great.
Yeah, I think so. Just to the left of that last tree there.
Henna still can get a par from here.
Is she thinking birdie?
It sure looks like it.
It does sure look like it. Dang, that was a great shot. She does get caught up, but perfect angle.
Yeah, she's only about 100 feet from the basket.
Kristin's third, throwing a nice little turning forehand.
She's also thinking birdie.
Wow, definitely. She's thinking bullseye, baby.
God, the power on these third shots is incredible.
Jess with a grip lock there, and that's not going to be easy to recover from.
I think this is one of the hardest spots on the course to play from. The slope of that little area. You're throwing a standstill and trying to throw a turnover backhand or a weird forehand. I see so many errors there, and especially out of my own hand. It's a tough little spot.
And it gets tough on this right side once you're up on the green, too. Look at this. Oh. And she probably has poison ivy also.
Yeah, wow, it was only the 7th most difficult hole. There were 9 birdies.
Must have just been a lot of pars.
Yeah, a ton of pars, half the field. Really nice recovery from Henna from that early tree hit.
Jess, with her first strokes in the red this round, and it is looking like a double. Which I think we actually make purple, but you get it.
There's some red in there.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Owen almost able to get the birdie there.
That kind of feels like Owen's whole day. Just a little bit off. But overall, like, fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just finding that purple double bogey, 3-stroke swing, and gonna tie it up here. Kristin played that hole beautifully.
Henna doing what's almost impossible to do.
What? Scramble birdie?
Yeah, from that early of a tree hit.
The first tree, yeah.
Yeah, especially without a sidearm at all.
Oh, man.
Incredible.
Very good point. Hole 13, we are out of the woods. Still quite a few trees to deal with here, though. Mandatory on the right feels like a double mandatory because there is 2 trees you want to pipe through with a backhand. A great shot's going to land around here somewhere and leave you with, maybe a 250-foot approach shot with a huge tee shot.
Yeah.
It definitely feels longer than 555 here. The OB can definitely come into play on that left side if you kind of saw off a shot in your second shot, and the wind here was like left to right mostly.
So this hole played wildly different today than normal. The wind was insane on this tee pad. It was left to right, maybe a little bit of a headwind as well at times, and just ridiculous gusts randomly. It was really tough to predict what the wind was going to be doing constantly. Henna is going to be one of the only people in the field to throw this aggressive and confident of a shot. I bet her landing zone was, in the small percentage. Most people just kind of bailing out hyzers, just trying to get through this gap.
Whoa.
Yeah, that you see a lot of this today, that really big right turn. Owen with a nice overstable disc, so it fights out. Yesterday, this played as one of the easiest hole of the day. One of the most birdied holes of the day. Today, though, not.
It's a good setup there. Jessica taking the forehand play, which I think is really smart in this wind. You don't quite get as far, but most ladies playing for par in this kind of a wind. And this green was insanely windy. Okay, she's still playing for birdie. That's so good. That was a huge second shot.
It was. It got so difficult to get aggressive here. You can see Kristin's disc just getting pulled so hard right.
Yeah, like Jess's shot was so amazing just now.
Kristin gets some nice little skips off the concrete, back in bounds.
Own with that racer, turning it and getting in almost inside the circle's edge for a birdie.
This putting green was tough today. You wanted to get it close.
Yeah, the wind kept changing directions and just, yeah, there it is. Look at that wind elevating Henna's disc. She does get through those branches and is nearly parked, but that was a pretty fortunate break.
Yeah, there's no way that's what the route she was trying to take.
Yeah, between those branches.
And this is a nice conservative run / maybe a layup from Kristin. I think a lot of players did this today.
I mean, Owen and Kristin putting into a headwind from that side of the basket.
A ripping headwind. There was only 7 competitors that got to circle 1 in regulation. 23 got to circle 2, and no one's really going aggressive on this putt. Jess gives it a nice bid, hits a little too high. There were only 2 birdies today on this hole.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Let's see if...
we saw, I mean, it was like 40% of the field yesterday.
Yeah, it was huge. Henna going to be one of those birdies. Who's the other one?
Cadence Burge.
Very good.
She could throw far and also make huge putts in the wind.
Man, I would have loved to see her hair in the wind today. Watching Kat Murch ahead on the next hole. Going backhand here again, mostly ahead left to right wind. She throws pretty stable and gets just outside the circle, and she digs it.
It was so windy on this tee pad in green.
Yep. I like the skips with the 0 smile. Like, that's a vibe.
Let's watch Ella Hansen as well. She's not scared of the wind. She's throwing a mid-range.
Yeah, she is. Oh, wow.
So good.
Gorgeous shot. Oh, and Holland, too.
Wow.
Hers out quite a bit wider.
This is a no fear play because going that close to OB with this left to right crosswind, you can hear it.
Into a headwind here for Holland. Yeah.
It was the type of day today, too, that you couldn't, like, wait it out. You just had to go because you knew it could just last for 25 seconds.
Or get worse.
Yes.
Nice couple of birdies there.
Still with a 3-way tie at the top.
Missy Gannon. Wow, huge tie for 4th, too, with all those birdies we just watched.
And here's the hole we just watched Holland and Ella and Kat Murch play. And birdie. 303 feet. Plays more like 3, I don't know, 30 today?
I like 3, I don't know.
3, I don't know.
Yeah.
330, I would say. Today in the headwind, it didn't really add a ton of distance. It just felt crazy to try to figure out what disc you were going to throw. I think we see a lot of hyzer flips to this green, but I kind of like a flex shot as well, or like a very baby flex. And you just could not trust that today. That wind could really take control.
Yeah, I think baby flex is the play. But this was probably the most common play today.
Yep. You can see the grass is all worn down right there where everybody putts.
Really solid shot from Henna to get just outside the circle. Forehand is a great play here. Though with the wind, oh, I like that. A little short, though.
Yeah, it's going to push it down with that Anheuser angle.
I'd be worried about landing and getting a huge flare skip towards the OB.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. Own, working the flex.
Yeah, that's that flippy racer that she throws. It's challenging OB, but I think checked up.
Wow. Just gonna try the flex forehand here. That looks so good.
Yeah. Gorgeous shot. Working the flex. Kristin laying up to the good side of the basket, leaves a tailwind putt.
Yeah, Own not out of bounds, just gonna pitch something up, get it nice and close so we don't have to mess around in this wind. Henna has a birdie look. but doesn't get aggressive here, and I think that's a good play. Jess with a tailwind, and with her style of putting, that is pretty brutal. She doesn't put a lot of spin on it. You can see her wrist kind of turns around the disc, and it's like a pretty low spin and a lot more of a lob, and that wind can take control of that style of putting.
Yeah, we all know the wind hates a lob.
Sure does, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
There were only 11 birdies on this hole today.
That is a bummer, but it's just a testament to how difficult these putting conditions are. I mean, you saw Holland and Ella take just as much time as Jess in their pre-shot routine for 10-footers, 15-footers.
The whole time your brain's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And you're like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Holland, Hanley, and Missy Gannon with the hot round, 6 down so far. Still got that 3-way tie at the top. Hole 15, what a doozy today in that head left to right wind.
It is the corral hole, and this year the corral is out of bounds. The road is also out of bounds, the fence line on the right side, and the left to right crosswind / headwind made this drive impossible. There's a little bit of a gully that you want to get across. If you land in that gully, all of a sudden you find yourself having to lay up to the corral and then pitch your third shot over to the green, and just invites a little bit too much opportunity for bogey strokes. So ideally, you're throwing a huge shot like Henna here, but most competitors in our field not confident enough with their drivers in this wind to bite off that much distance from the tee. Kristin gonna pull out a forehand. I love this play if you have it, but the wind was so strong that the forehand feels a little crazy.
It does, because you can just flare skip OB to the right. Henna's shot was pretty crazy. That distance.
Dude, it was huge. I didn't really highlight it as much as I should have.
Most players, I'll do it for you. That's why I'm here.
Most players are trickling past that little center gully.
Oh, man, this feels so scary.
Oh, no.
I think that was coming back.
Did that hit a light pole?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Jess throws really flippy discs. But this one is flipping the right way. Wind helps it back into the middle.
Beautiful shot. Owen having to take this pretty early. With the corral now being out of bounds, she's just going to lay this up, lose her hat.
Yeah, hat goes, disc goes. Look at the wind. Look at these gusts.
Yeah.
Gosh, this hole was a nail biter the whole time. You're just hoping, trying to throw the safest possible shot.
In the normal wind, hole 17, I think, is the toughest, but in this wind, I think this one is.
By far, yeah. It played as the most difficult hole statistically, so your feelings are correct.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Your thoughts are valid.
Oh, it's great.
I feel like I just went to therapy. Wow.
Oh, Kristin Wood.
Parked for a birdie.
Hits the koozie.
Henna, man, it's the best drive I've seen.
Yep, and exactly her type of shot.
She gets caught up on a branch and will have a 28-footer in the wind. Oh, and throwing 5 with that double OB.
And a good recovery shot. Jess with a head crosswind.
Almost slid out of bounds on that one.
A soft bid. There's nothing to show how windy it is here, but I don't know if the audio is picking it up, but it was crazy on this screen. You can tell by Own.
Yeah.
Almost blown over.
Yeah. Bracing against the wind.
Yeah, there were 7 birdies on this hole today. We got to watch Kristin with her birdie. 40% of the field with a bogey. A quarter of the field with a double bogey or worse. So, whoa. It averaged 3/4 of a stroke over par.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, this was the round ruiner. With that, Kristin's going to take a 1-stroke lead.
Some of my favorite discs in my bag are the A-Series discs. They're the ones I lean on to get close to the basket. These are torque-resistant discs, provide a consistent fade at the end of the flight. The best way to find your flight is to get out and use these discs yourself.
Hole 16, 609 feet. It's a par 4. We've seen this hole every year, but this year we have a new out of bounds line that makes it play more like an island hole. Even though there is this little kind of false path in the middle, no one uses it. It's your first shot has to land short of the OB line. It's about 310 to 15-ish feet. Your second shot, you really have to open up in order to get to this green. The OB wraps around the backside of the basket, and then it's elevated just to boot. This is a really tough birdie, especially again in the conditions today. This tee shot, especially I'm going to say again, is hard because you can't quite bite off as much as you want. You can't work that flex backhand that you want off the tee. You have to just throw a hyzer, and the wind can do wild things in this open area. You see a lot of shots filtering over to the left, like we see both Henna and Kristin's shots, really increasing the distance required to get to the green on the second shot.
Jess looks like she's trying to work some turn on that disc, and she's going to get a bunch of skips and filter to that left side. And yeah, that is a very far shot from over there. Oh no, working the flex, but having trouble in the wind.
Wow, really riding that OB line in a way only Owen would. Jess is going to opt for the forehand here. She's probably about 300 and I would say 50 feet away from the green, maybe more than that. Do you think maybe like closer to 380?
Yeah.
It's far.
It's far.
Oh no, her disc turns, does what you would not expect it to do in the wind, and kind of grabs turning left. Henna going to opt for a hyzer route, and look at the wind just play with that disc, pushing it down.
She's safe though. And man, another elevated pin, also just making for some crazy difficult putting. Owen ending up in a really good spot after a very risky drive over the other side, no problem.
She'll be in circle 2. Not a putt that most players are going to run here. Kristin, the only one left with an opportunity to get up to the putting green.
Wow. Sit.
Uh-oh.
That's great.
Yeah, comes in a little early. She, again, probably will not be putting here.
Jess throwing 4 with that OB stroke. Solid approach shot.
God, and after
still a scary putt.
Yeah, after such a a beautiful front 9, it stinks to see this back 9 happen.
It always does.
It
yes.
always does.
Was Henna running that?
I'm not sure.
Regardless, it's not what you want for your par putt after being so close.
Oh, Kristin was running that.
I like the soft run though. I think that's her harp in the headwind.
Wow.
I could be wrong, but that's what it looked like.
That is what it looked like. She's hungry. She's hungry for birdies. Jess, recovering a bogey is really great here. Oh, my goodness.
Henna unable to save the par there.
There were only 6 birdies today. This played in the top 5 most difficult holes, with 37% of the field with a bogey or worse. This hole played tough.
It did.
We like the change though. Just to reiterate,
It's fair.
It's very fair.
Super fair in the calm conditions. Kristin with a 2-stroke lead now after those couple bogeys from Jess and Henna.
Yeah, the beast is beasting right now on our lead card.
Hole 17, par 4, 530 feet. The drone is going to take this left gap, which you see a lot of forehands. You can take the right side, which is clearer than it has been in years past. You want to land right about here and then go down this very scary narrow tunnel. Obviously OB water. There's a nice kind of big bubble of a landing zone if you just want to play it for par, but we are going to see these ladies attack if they are in position to do so. I like forehand, but you do see some backhands also approaching the green. Just scary.
Yeah, the wind wasn't as bad on this hole as I was expecting in the round. Coming up to it, I was thinking it was going to be a nightmare, but You could really feel it where Kristin's disc landed right on that little landing zone, but not as bad as, I don't know, the rest of the course felt.
Yeah, the tee didn't feel too bad.
No.
Oh, and hitting that early tree, she's probably just going to have to pitch to the corner and play for par. Henna with a nice turning backhand. Wow. Love
That is perfect.
Just going to show us that left side route with the forehand.
And this is a classic Waco. There used to be a branch on the right side. That prevented a lot of players from going right. It just was too high risk. So that forehand is a really great play. Own's tee shot is a little too short to do anything crazy. She's just laying up in the middle.
But does a great job getting pretty far down there and hopefully making that approach shot as easy as possible. We saw Jess birdie this yesterday from around this same area, which is not something most people can do. This is a crazy shot.
It is just throwing it into oblivion.
Yeah.
And dead center for Jess.
Henna going standstill here.
Once you got this low on the hill, you could barely feel the wind here. It was
Yeah.
nice. A nice change of pace.
It was. Relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Great shot from Henna. Although the green could get kind of gusty.
Yeah.
Literally at one point, I picked some grass and let it float into the air. And what happened was that it blew straight upwards and dispersed. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with that information?
Yeah.
Kristin with a great second shot.
The wind is blowing up into the heavens.
Yeah.
Classic.
Take me away.
Yeah. It makes risk management a lot more difficult.
And Owen's struggling in the wind here. I think maybe her footing wasn't quite perfect there either. Jess's third shot. Really nice little touch shot there. Puts it close. No nonsense. Par is always a great score on hole 17.
Yeah, this played as the second most difficult hole of the day. It's always a bit of a tweener for the FPO field on these windy days that we get so regularly here at Waco. There were only two birdies on this hole today, and almost half the field with a bogey or worse. So it still played rough.
Henna, one of the birdies. The other one was Danny Clyden on my card. She hit a 70-foot putt to get it. It was
nice.
tight. Uh-huh.
Oh, there's 3 birdies. I did not read correctly. Deanne Carey also with a birdie on this one today. This hole also averaged at 3/4 of a stroke over par. And at this point in the round, you are just holding on for dear life. Happy to make it through without a bogey stroke. Owen sliding off the leaderboard a little bit with those back-to-back double bogeys.
18's an in. Oh, go ahead. You go.
But this is a hole that you can recover a birdie. The wind was rough today. It was rough yesterday as well. A bit of a headwind. Today was more of a right to left crosswind, but gusting in all directions. It's hard to get your disc to lay down in the flat area of the grass on the short side. We don't see players going for it very often, especially not in this wind. You do see a lot of shots land on the hill on the left side, forcing either a standstill or an awkward run-up. The shot across the water is very doable by everybody in the field, but it's still scary because you want it to land close to the basket and not leave yourself a big death putt on the deep side of the basket. Henna biting off.
Shot.
Yeah, so much here. Most players are throwing, overstable putters, mids, fairways. Henna just crushing. That's probably a mid, isn't it?
Oh, that's a good question. But this play becoming more and more common, the aggressive layup, because it leaves an easier shot.
Yeah.
Henna threw. It was a destroyer.
Okay.
She went big.
She went
As did
distance
Kristin.
driver.
Kristin, grand glory, so a little bit slower. But yeah, just going big on.
Oh.
Whoa. On 18 is kind of the play.
Is it the play?
It's becoming the play.
Yeah.
It's
narrow in the middle where.
Yeah, it does widen as you go.
Yep.
Also going big.
Trusting the wind to do some of the work for her.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was really great. This played as the 4th most difficult hole of the day, averaging at 0.6 of a stroke over par.
Yeah, this one usually isn't quite so scary. And you're like, yeah, I could probably finish with a birdie, but wind, 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 wind.
Yep. Own doing a great job of getting across the water, but there she is in that deep spot with she's going to have to make a big comeback putt.
That tail left to right was kind of taken to making him skip towards that deep OB today, which is not the typical problem you see.
Just keeping it nice and low, trying to burn it into the hill, but coming in too hot, getting some ground play. She'll be at circle's edge with a death putt for a birdie.
Kristin going forehand, super smart to combat the wind. That looks great.
Perfect.
Bullseye, almost. I like Henna's little tappies before she throws.
Me too. She tappies it to about 15 feet.
Oh, and looking for a birdie to finish after
She's
a couple
running
doubles.
this.
Cool run. Right at the water.
Ugh. Just good at the little soft bids. There's the lob.
Jess with a really great start and a good round overall, just not quite as hot on the back nine.
Henna low on the cage.
Dang.
Rough day on the putting green for Henna, but such excellent play. She still comes out with a really great score.
Mm-hmm. Kristin gonna extend her lead to 2 strokes moving into Championship Sunday. What a clean round.
And the Beast doing what it does.
Beastin'.
Yeah, humbling everybody in these crazy windy conditions tomorrow. It's supposed to cool off a little bit, and we're supposed to have less wind, and we're going to see way more green on these scorecards, especially in the back nine.
We hope so. All right, Kristin in the lead by 2 strokes over Henna, 3 strokes over Jessica Weese, and 4 strokes over Holland Hanley, who tied Kristin for the hot round of the day at 7 down.
Yep, and will be joining us tomorrow on our Championship Sunday lead card. Yeah, it looks like to be in the top 10, you have to be under par for the tournament so far.
You would know.
Honk. And we have one more round here at the Waco Annual Charity Open. Thanks for following along so far. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Before we go, though, please go help us get to 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. Turn on your notifications. Thanks to our Founders Club. You guys are the best. You keep the wheels on the bus going round and round. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're the 2 hot geese.
Honk.
Honk.
Sunshine, get up on my body, know it truly, I feel fine. Get up, watch your body, and I feel that sunshine. Get up on my body, know it truly, I feel fine.